Welcome to Detroit, and let us know why, in your opinion, has Detroit produced so much talent? You could have been born in Detroit.
I wish I had been for some reasons, but Pittsburgh had some great artists too. It's nice to be that close, though, to Detroit, because the artists coming out of Detroit, you have to stop by Pittsburgh on their way to New York. Such as the case was Smokey Robinson. I met him when I was, I guess, 17, and he had just gotten married. He was only like 19 or 20. And his band, I ran into his guitar player in Hawaii, and he told me he was playing with Smokey Robinson. I said, how long? He said, since the beginning, when they were called the Miracles.
Yes.
And I said, well, I can tell you what's in that case, his guitar case. He was carrying it, you know. He said, what do you mean? I said, you got a black 3-pickup Gibson with 3 gold pickups. He said, how you know that? I said, I was with you the week you bought it. And that's the same week Smokey Robinson got married.
Wow,
That far back,
And let us know, how can our audience support something you're currently working on? Is there something in the studio yet to come out that we need to know about?
Well, they're talking about doing my life story. As a matter of fact, the screenplay or script is being written right now. There's some great stories. We don't know which one we're going to use exactly, but there's some great stories involved, some subjects that people might be interested in, especially the entertainment field.
And who might play you? You know, your friend Aretha, she's still debating who's going to play her. So who might play you? Who would you love to play the great George Benson?
I don't have anybody in mind, but it would be a great thing to have a contest or live interviews of people who might do that, because I have 4 or 5 different parts of my life, where I changed up. I started as a baby, and by the time I was 7, I was working in nightclubs, and then when I was 10, I did my first recording. That's a different guy. And then when I was 15, I had a singing group. That's why I know all the Motown singers and all of the people in the music business who sang. I ran into Harvey Fuqua's son tonight.
That's Michael Fuqua, yes.
But his dad was one of my favorite people of all time. With the Moon Glows, he was awesome. And the record he did with Etta James, that's some of my favorite stuff. So Motown has always had a gigantic, and by the time we got around to Little Stevie Wonder, the teenager Stevie, and several other artists. I met James Jamerson, and I was supposed to do a record with him, which I never got a chance to do, and I regret that. But it's a pleasure, though, to have had a conversation with him, shook his hand, hung out with him, and also the great saxophone player on What's Going On. Well, there was a tenor player, was George Benson, but no, the alto player was, what was his name?
Is it Jameson? No.
He was the alto player. Eli Fontaine.
Eli Fontaine, yeah. The drummer, yeah.
And then I was to bump into Marvin at his house. I never went inside. He's out playing football in the yard. And right after What's Going On came out. But he's always been one of my favorite artists.
Now, the name of the movie, I would say the one and only George Benson. But if you were to name the film, other than the George Benson story, what might the name of that movie be?
The Adventures.
The Adventure.
Yeah, that's something along those lines. Because that's what music is an adventure. You don't know where you're going to come out. You got to hang in there. You got to be strong when things go down. And you got to be capable when they ask you to step to the front. So that takes practice every day, ready for any situation. And when Miles Davis called me, that taught me a great lesson. I wish I was more prepared, But he loved my playing. And he saw some things I couldn't see.
Thank you so much for watching this edition of PUILSEBEAT.tv, Greg Dunmore's Hot Happenings. And why do we keep it hot and happening? Because of you. See you next week.
Pulse of a new generation. PUILSEBEAT.tv.